Hey everybody, I was asked to do a video on how to make homemade masks. We're going to be making ours out of cotton, 3 layers. I know that they have suggested anywhere from 2 to 4 layers. The tighter the weave of the cotton, or fabric that you use I should say, is the best. So for my mask, I had a bunch of cotton laying around. You can use sheets or scarves or as tight of fabric as you can get. And I had some flannel, and we're going to use that as our middle layer. If you cannot find elastic, you could use shoelaces or bias tape. You can also make your own bias tape with long strips of your cotton fabric. The other thing we have is ribbon. The grosgrain has a nice little texture to it, but it's still soft. But it should tie well and not be too slick. So in with the video, I'm going to add some of these pictures, but here is the template that I have been using. It is 7 inches by 8 inches, and it has these 6 places right here that we hole punched, and that is where you're going to fold your fabric. Okay, so once you cut your fabric 7 inches by 8 inches, I like to have the 2 pretty sides facing out. I put my middle layer in here. You can iron it if you want to. We are just trying to make as many of these as quick as we can, so we are skipping the ironing process at this point. So you're going to lay your layers on top of each other. Take your little template, and we marked ours with a marker. It can be any marker. You're just going to mark these places where you want your folds to be on your fabric. Once you have that done, I like to go around mine with a zigzag stitch, or if you have a serger, you can serge it. So here's our serged. You can see that we have the three layers in there. So serge all 4 edges. Then your next step, you're going to want some of these clips if you have some, or you can use paper clips if you have paper clips, or you can use pens. So your points here are just to help you line up your pleats. So there's really 1 inch in between the dots, and you're going to put 1 dot on top of the other, making a 1/2 inch pleat. That's where your clips come in handy. They're just going to hold it for you. And you're going to do this on both sides. So it looks like this when you're finished. If your pleats do not line up perfectly straight across from each other, it's okay. It will still work. Okay, so you're going to put it in the machine once you get your pleats lined up. And I should say that your 7 inches is across the top, and your 8 inches is what you have folded across the side. So as you stitch your pleats in place, you're just going to remove your clips. They're just holding it for you. Okay, you can pause it. Okay, so we're on our second side. You're going to want to back stitch a little bit. Finish this side and back stitch at the end. Okay, so your mask should look like this now. You have stitched it on both edges. So whatever you're using for a tie, elastic's really hard to find right now, so you could use, a shoestring, or it needs to be 36 inches long. You're going to fold it in half, approximate to the middle of the mask, and then you can roll this over and stitch it in place, and you would do that on this end and this end, so you have 2 ties. We are going to use the bias tape, so 36 inches. We're going to find the center of it, approximate to the mask. We're going to put half on one side, half on the other, and starting at this end, with it folded in half, we're going to top, hold that for us, we're going to top stitch this along this edge, and then you will have a completed mask. You're going to want to do the same thing on this end. Folding that bias tape in half, catching those loose edges. So that when you get to the mask part, it's in between this sandwich layer of your bias tape. Stitch all the way to the other end of your tape. You're going to do the same thing for this side right here, and then your mask will be complete. That you have a completed mask when it looks like this. So it can be tied on and under. You just want to make sure it covers. The instructions are for the hospital, and it talks about inserting a wire. They're using a twist and tie type wire. It's really not necessary because these are not 100% effective. So it's just to keep you from spreading germs to other people.